Hi guys, Spink here. This is episode what? Episode 8. Oh yeah, episode 8 again of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. This is the third or fourth time trying to record this. I played through episode 8 just fine, and when I went to upload it, I could not find it. So I either failed to record it and didn't notice, or deleted it beyond my ability to recover with deleted file recovery utilities. So I have no idea what happened to it. And then I tried it a second time, and it didn't record. Well, it recorded, but I was using the experimental OpenGL option, hoping to free up some memory so I could add some more mods. And all it did was basically have like a screenshot of the first screen I was at, and I was talking along just fine, and my mouse was going on doing all kinds of stuff that, as far as I knew, was happening on other screens, or in the vehicle building shed and whatnot. So trying again. This is attempt number 3, and again the time has passed during each of those episodes. I didn't do much the first time through. I believe I picked up a couple of the missions where I grabbed some splashdown missions or something and got a little bit of science out of that. We have unlocked advanced flight controls in the interim and advanced construction. I don't recall if those had been seen before. I also added I added a new mod. Normally I don't really care for mods that just add parts, more engines, more fuel tanks, blah blah. That doesn't really do it for me. It's generally when I find something that fills a gap that I think is in the stock parts, and that's with this K2 command pod, which is a 2-man or 2 Kerbal command pod. So I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense. So I've included that, and I did get that life support mod working properly now. It turns out what I had done when I installed some of these mods is some of them come packaged with the mod manager, DLL, and each of them had installed a version of that, and I had a couple more than one version of that module manager active at the same time. So I've deleted all of those and only have one module manager now that is the latest version, and that seems to have taken care of that problem. Where we're at now is we need to start doing satellites, and because I'm using RemoteTech, which is a mod that requires communications links for things to function properly, that's what I'm going to have to do at this point. This red dot here represents the Kerbal Space Center, and if I do not have a communications link to the Kerbal Space Center, any unmanned probes, satellites, vehicles of any kind are not going to be able to function properly. You won't be able to control them at all. Yeah. So I need to make basically a system of satellites in orbit around Kerbin here that is going to be able to relay those signals from whatever my active vessel is back to the Space Center. And it's also going to facilitate being able to use to transmit data, scientific data, back to base. You can't do that unless you have a communications link with the RemoteTech mod. So what I did in the interim was I built the first satellite for that. Now I don't quite have all of the parts that I need yet to make the satellite that I want to have, because I don't have the photovoltaic cells, the big solar arrays that I want. I've just got these little individual ones, and they have a tough time keeping up essentially with the amount of power that these antennas are going to be drawing. So I kind of have to have this one, or at least start them off temporarily until I can get enough money raised through doing other contracts that'll enable me to upgrade the R&D facility, because it will only at this stage we're at right now, it only allows research limit up to 100. I've got to come up with another $500,000 here and able to increase that limit so that I can basically get this guy right here, and probably some of these other ones as well. But we're going to kind of have to have a temporary run in the interim. And I also need to upgrade the vehicle assembly building in order to get past this 30 part count thing. So I'm kind of in a catch-22 situation. I need to upgrade this in order to get the parts to do the satellites that are going to, do that. So kind of a pain in the butt. But what I'm going to do is get this guy up as my first little temporary one, or maybe not so temporary. We're just going to have to see. This is the procedural fairings mod here. You have a base thing and you add those parts to it, and it generates a nice little fairing for your what'd I do? Screwed it up. Where's it at? There it is. It's on the other side. Yeah, let's just do it with symmetry on. There we go. Because I think with the Ferrum Aerospace mod, you can't really just launch these naked satellites anymore without subjecting them to aerodynamic damage or throwing your entire rocket out of whack. So let's see. There's those. We don't want them to be in the first stage. That's for damn sure. So let's just do it like this. Let's drag this stage up to there. Alright, so we've got our little rockets here, we've got our other stage, we're going to pull these guys off, and then we're going to operate our satellite. Okay, I think we can get this guy near enough into orbit. We should be able to. Do a launch. Let's see, do we have actually anything already built at all? Build time, 2 days, build time. We don't have anything currently there. All right. So I guess we're just going to have to do it. Do it. Don't remember what actually we've done before and have to redo, and hopefully I get my technical issue straightened out. Okay, so warp to complete. We get this ComSat built and get it launched. And what I'm hoping to do on this initial launch is to get the satellite basically in a geosynchronous orbit directly over the Space Center, so that it will be the link. Any probe that can access that satellite will have a link here, regardless of whether they have a line of sight directly to the Space Center itself. So, what's this is telling me? Vessel is complete. Okay. Oh, now I got 2 of them. Yeah, I thought I kind of screwed that up, didn't I? Well, we're going to need 2 of them, so that's okay. Or actually, we're going to probably need more than that. So, all right, let's get that first one going. So what I need to do is basically have 3 or 4 of these in orbit around Kerbal, so that anywhere I have any vessels, they will be able to launch. They'll be able to have that communications link. So as soon as I get up out of the atmosphere, I'm going to have to separate this fairing off and activate one of those one of those longer ranged antennas, because the antenna that I'm using to launch does not have the range. So that's something I'm going to have to pay close attention to. Now, if I bring this guy out on a normal orbital trajectory, like I generally do, like we all do for our satellites and stuff, before it gets to where it needs to get, I'm going to lose line of sight contact with the Space Center here. So I'm going to have to bring this guy out way up, way steep, and bring him out to whatever the distance I need him to be, and then burn from that way. So we're going to have to see what that's supposed to be. In fact, I probably ought to pause this and see if I can double check to make sure I know what my altitude has to be. Okay, it looks like we need 2868 kilometers. 2868.75 kilometers to be exact. Okay, so let's see if I can pull this off. This probe body that I'm using, the octagonal one or hexagonal one, whichever it is, that actually has an SAS in it. So that will help me out. Let's get our throttle up. Oh, did I set my delta V? What did I set my thrust to weight ratio? My thrust to weight ratio is pretty high. Oh boy, we're just gonna have to do it because I don't want to take it back. I don't need this to be shown. All right. I should have turned those down. Hopefully it's not going to cause a problem. Speed is not too bad. It's definitely higher than I want to be. I'm wasting power here. You can kind of see the speed effects there that I'm moving too fast. This should slow us up some, shouldn't it? Yeah, we don't want to get too fast too soon. And I'm going to run this guy basically straight up because I need to keep the communications link with him. And now we're actually going to be able to use this flight computer. Now it's not like a mech-jeb kind of flight computer. It's something that you give it commands and then send it, because this RemoteTech will also simulate a communications delay that you get from long distances. So when we've got this one of these satellites farther away, we're not going to be able to command it just using our normal WASD keys and whatnot, because there's going to be up to a several second delay between when that gets there. So we're going to have to be using this this flight computer to do that. Now you can see this line here. That's my communications link. If I lose that link, I won't be able to control this satellite. And that has a range, I believe, what do we got, 50 or 500 kilometers, I believe, is our range on that. So before we exit 500 kilometers of range, I need to remove the fairing and activate some of these other antennas that would not been able to have activated and go through the atmosphere. The atmosphere would have torn them up, so we have to activate them later. Let's see, we're out of the atmosphere, so I probably can, well, almost out of the atmosphere. We can throttle up here probably. And we want to have a nice big apoapsis on this guy. Again, what did we want? We wanted 2868 kilometers. So that's going to be fairly substantial. And I've got to get him up here and get everything arranged before Kerbal rotates. I believe it rotates this direction. Rotates to get us out of our line of sight. Altitude is up. Okay. Now I am going to, while we're here, I'm going to stage and get these fairings off, I think, is what I have to do. There we go. And now we got to activate this antenna. And that has a range of 2.5 million meters, so that's almost enough to get us all the way there. And now we're going to have a power drain on that too. Whoa, okay. Oh, I don't have enough. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We're good. We're good. We're good. And this gives us, we've got, I think, plenty of delta V now to get us to our orbit. Might as well open up some of these, at least one of these other. Make sure we don't use too much of our juice. And we're going to actually point this target at mission control. Okay, what do we want? Let's actually stop right now so I can take stock of where we're at here. We need this to be at 2868.75, so I think we're still good here. Let's bring that back up. 2868.75. 2860. Oh, we're a little too far, but that's okay. That's close enough. We can get him figured out. Okay, and now what I want to do is put a maneuver node in here, about right there, that I'm going to use to no, I'm doing it wrong. What is my, am I in a goofy? I'm in a goofy orbit. Oh, bother. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. I need to get this to about as, yeah, that's kind of like what we want, right? But it's got to be 2868. So bring this down. That's about right. Then what, this? No. 2868 is what we need. There we go. We're getting there, getting there. No, that's got to be what? There, 28. Close enough. What do we do this way? Yeah, bring that in. Oops, too far. 26, 23, 25. Almost. Getting pretty close. Whoops. 2832. 2833. That's not too bad. We got to get it better though. We can fine tune it once we get it. I think that. Okay, so that's relatively good, I think. So now we're going to use the flight computer because we're controlling this from mission control. We don't have any Kerbals inside it. Now, I don't like to use something like MechJeb because that kind of, you know, makes things a little too easy, but I don't have any problem using this for what it's done with. This isn't going to fly it for us. It's just going to we'll put him in a prograde orient. Well, let's go back to our guy here so we can keep an eye on him. We'll put him, let's actually open that other, and we'll target that on active vessel, and I think that should do us. This should work as long as we can keep him powered. Okay, so we're going to, our signal delay is still sitting at 0 because we're close enough. We're close enough to Kerbal that that's not a problem. We're coming up on our apoapsis in 56 minutes. And it's at 2873. Let's see if I can fix this. Or make it worse. What did I do? I hit the wrong one. There we go. No. Anyway, so we can let me get this back to where it's supposed to be, more or less. Now we still have to make the maneuver nodes. But then we can send the command to the probe to activate its engine when it gets to the maneuver node. So let's see, 2860 something. I had this pretty good, and I tried to fix it, and I screwed it up. What do we got there? 27. We got plenty of time before we hit our 20. So that's pretty good right there. 28. What do I need? 2868. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get this to here, because this is still going to be in line of sight, I think. So I think we'll be good. And then I'll fix that other node. I think that's close enough. Okay, so that node's coming up. Anyway, let's go back to here. Now we can send a prograde to a line prograde. We can send to a line retrograde. And now if this was far enough away, we would actually have that communications delay before that actually happened. So what we're going to do, we're going to put him back on prograde. Again, that's using up his juice doing that, though. So we don't really have good. I'm gonna deactivate one of those, because I'm really afraid that I don't have the power with these small cells to make this work. Anyway, node, we can hit node, and we can have him, so now he's aligned on the node. See, he aligned on the blue dot, and then we can have him execute the node. So now he's going to execute the next maneuver, and then we can warp. Oh, out of power. See, we ran out of juice. I screwed him up because he's now not aimed. He's now not aimed at the sun. Where is the sun? Oh, he is aimed. He's aimed right at the sun, but these are not aimed at sun, and we can't do anything manually with him. I wonder if I can deactivate anything. Out of power, so I can't even activate anything. So this is a brick. Doggone it. Well, that's how this is supposed to work. I mean, you can kind of get the gist of it, but I screwed it up, as you can tell. And again, you know, if I had had the proper or better, oh look, now he's moving. But I think we're still out of. We don't have the. Now we don't need to have the communications link anymore for him to execute this. He'll still do this if he has the power to do it. So So I think he's actually maybe picking up just a smidge of power here and trying to stay on there, but I don't know. Oh man, we're gonna have to put some more of these solar panels on him, I guess. Well, doggone it. Maybe we'll be able to recover once we get some more power. Are we going to be able to get power, though? Oh, gosh. Almost had it. That was working, and I actually had a node that was reasonably proper. Okay, so what we want to do when we're traversing up to our thing, we need to make sure that we have that satellite aligned in such a direction that we're still getting power. Doggone it. And I think we'll probably, as he whips around, we'll probably regain some of that power, but as he aligns at some point coming around, he'll get it just enough to not work, probably. So now he's coming. Did he swing around? No, he's still aligned on that thing. Oh, he's already heading back down. Okay. Well, that was a fail, pretty obviously. Burning up in the atmosphere. Yeah, see, something came flying off. Well, that's deadly reentry for you there. And the probe core itself is still hanging on. Okay, so he burned up on reentry, but his little node is still there. Okay, well that's I think that's probably about it for, well, let's warp him down all the way for this episode anyway, and we'll try again next episode. See if I can arrange those power panels better. I need to have some aimed forward and backwards so that we have a 360 coverage of our solar panels. And I also need to be much more careful when I'm having him aligned so that yeah. So see, these antennas ripped off by the strong airflow, so that's why we have to have those deactivated during our ascent. And we lost the whole thing. Recovered nothing. So I think we're gonna have to call this episode to a close, and next time I'll try this again. Thanks for watching.